Hello everybody and welcome. My name is Julia and I'm the highly sensitive tarot card reader, and I'm here today with video 2 in my series of the Osho Zen Tarot, which are something that I've had for a long time and that I've been struggling to get my head around really. Where I've used them in readings in the past, I've only really looked at the imagery on them and tried to intuit what I felt about the cards, because it never seemed appropriate to read from the book within a reading with a client. So I thought I'd take this time really to try and get to know the cards a bit better. So I'm going to do another shuffle today and pull a card and we'll have a look at it. But I just wanted to read you. There's actually a Zen manifesto at the beginning of this guidebook from Osho. Zen knows only a vast life, which contains all kinds of contradictions in a deep harmony. The night is in harmony with the day, and life is in harmony with death, and the earth is in harmony with the sky. The presence is in harmony with the absence. This immense harmony, this synchronicity, is the essential manifesto of Zen. This is the only way of life which respects and loves and denies nothing, condemns nothing. So acceptance and harmony are really key words with Zen Buddhism. So let's have a shuffle and see what we get today from these gorgeous cards. I do think you could use these cards quite easily, really, without ever reading from the book, just because the imagery in them is so symbolic and so descriptive, so visually descriptive of an emotion or a feeling or a behaviour. But anyway, let's have a look. Right, we have control, which already I can see is a card of mastery of the mind, I would say. It's an air card. Just looking at this man's face here, he's almost like a robot. Look at all the harsh, straight lines, all the angles, the fists, the grimace on his face. You can see the sheer effort and the focus coming down into this point at the bottom here. A huge focus that there is on maintaining control there. It looks exhausting, doesn't it, actually? And I guess it is, isn't it? I think we're all trying to keep control of our lives in many different ways. And it is exhausting. So what number are we with control? Control is actually the king of clouds. So he would be the king of swords. This is the king of swords. No wonder. What page is that? Number 64. So there is a time and a place for control, but if we put it in charge of our lives, we end up totally rigid, which is what you can see here. Everything's become very hard and very sharp and very angled and very definite in that card. The figure is encased in the angles of pyramid shapes that surround him. Light glitters and glints off his shiny surfaces, but does not penetrate. It's as if he is almost mummified inside this structure he's built up around himself, His fists are clenched and his stare is blank and almost blind. The lower part of his body beneath the table is a knife point. As I said, the triangle that points downwards there, a cutting edge that divides and separates. His world is ordered and perfect, but it is not alive. He cannot allow any spontaneity or vulnerability to enter it. The image of the King of Clouds reminds us to take a deep breath, to loosen our neckties and to take it easy. If mistakes happen, it's okay. If things get a little out of hand, it's probably just what the doctor ordered. There is much, much more to life than being on top of things. Wow. See, already I read that card and I can feel the resistance within myself surrounding that card, because while those words are infinitely wise, I think in our everyday lives we have to have an element of control. And sometimes our lives have to be quite rigid. And I think that's a very difficult thing for any of us to let go of. It says here, controlled people are always nervous because deep down turmoil is hidden. If you are uncontrolled and flowing and alive, then you are not nervous. There is no question of being nervous because whatever happens, happens. You have no expectations of the future, so why should you be nervous? To control the mind to such a degree, one has to remain cold and frozen, and no life energy is allowed to move into your limbs or your body. If energy is allowed to move, those repressions will surface, and that's why people have learned how to be cold, how to touch others and yet not touch them, how to see people and yet not see them. Hello, how are you? Everyday cliches. Nobody means anything. These are just to avoid the real encounter of two people. People don't look into each other's eyes. They don't hold hands. They don't try to feel each other's energy. It's as if they are cold and dead and in a straitjacket. Wow. That's really advice to inspire and to aspire to, I would say. I think the message of this card is to look at what you're controlling in your life, what's keeping you boxed in and cold and hard and rigid. What are you afraid of? What do you think might happen if you did let your guard down, if you did just let yourself go a little bit? If you stepped out of this box here that you're encased in, what might happen? I think this card is really encouraging us to let our hair down a little bit and perhaps to look at what we are really controlling in our lives and what our motivations are for doing so, and to let go of anything that's really not necessary, anything that we really don't have to carry, that we don't have to repress or hide or stuff. The philosophies and the theories of Zen Buddhism are beautiful, but in our Western lives, they're not always that realistic in our everyday lives. But I think we can incorporate lots of the elements of these things into our lives. Even if we can't embody these wise words fully, we can still encompass an awful lot of the ideas here. Who would want to be this person? There's no creativity here, no flow. This person is stuck. Their energy is stuck. They're rigid. I don't think any of us want that for ourselves. Go outside, have a walk, have a run around, have a dance. Let your hair down. cuddle somebody, hug somebody, cuddle your cat, cuddle your dog. Say something nice to somebody. Let something go. I hope that helps anyway. And I hope to see you again soon. Thank you.